podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. You know that feeling when you're like searching for the right word in English?
Yeah.
And you just kind of freeze up.
Oh, absolutely.
Today we're going to tackle that head on. It's all about thinking in English, like actually thinking in English, not translating in your head.
You hit the nail on the head. It's a really common struggle, especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
Yeah, people kind of get stuck in this translation trap, which is totally understandable because, I mean, it's how we naturally learn a new language at first.
Oh, for sure.
You know, connecting the new words to words in our native language.
Right, so it's like a stepping stone, but then it becomes like the thing that trips us up.
Exactly. It becomes this roadblock to, actually being fluent.
Okay.
Imagine this. Your brain is trying to do like 3 things at once.
Yeah.
1, you're formulating the thought in your native language, and then 2, you're searching for the English equivalent, and then you're like, oh, wait, is the grammar correct? Oh, yeah.
It's just too much. It's like a mental traffic jam.
It's exhausting.
Right. And then, you hesitate, you get stuck, you feel flustered.
Totally. But wouldn't some people say those little pauses are just like part of the learning curve? How do we know it's really holding us back?
Well, there's actually been a lot of research on this.
Oh, wow.
And it shows that multilingual speakers who really rely on translation,
Yeah.
they often have slower processing speeds and they just aren't as fluent.
Interesting.
Like their working memory gets overloaded,
Oh.
which leads to all those, pauses and disruptions in the flow.
Okay, so it's not just about sounding smoother, it's about our brains actually being able to process and use the language better.
That's exactly it. The goal is to skip that translation step altogether.
Okay,
Go straight from thought to the English words.
I like that, yeah.
It's like the direct connection.
So then what does that feel like, to think directly in English? I mean, I don't even know if I can imagine that. Okay, think of it this way. You see a cup of coffee. Instead of thinking of the word coffee in your native language and then translating it, the word coffee just pops into your mind, boom,
Right.
instantly and effortlessly. That's the feeling we're going for.
Oh, I see. It's like second nature.
Exactly.
It's just there.
It's like when you finally understand something,
Yeah.
the pieces just click into place.
It's like, aha.
Yes. But, it's not magic. It takes time and effort.
Right. Years of habits.
Yeah, you don't just snap your fingers and suddenly you're thinking in English.
Right.
But it's absolutely achievable. The key is to start small
Okay.
and to practice consistently. Exercises that rewire your brain, basically.
So where do we even begin? Like, what are those baby steps?
All right, start with the basics. Think of everyday things, objects, actions. Don't translate them. Just say the English word or phrase out loud.
Okay.
Like, I'm hungry, that's a tree, I'm walking.
So simple, but yeah.
Simple, but super important. You're building that foundation.
Okay. It's like, what? Laying bricks.
Yeah,
One by one.
exactly.
Okay. I like that analogy.
And as you get comfortable with those basic pieces, you start building more complex sentences and thoughts. Like
Yeah.
with those bricks, you can build a whole house.
Right. So after we've mastered, I don't know if mastered is the right word, but after we're comfortable with those basics, what's next?
Okay, visual thinking.
Yeah.
This is powerful. So look around you right now.
Okay.
What do you see?
Well, I see a lamp.
Lamp. Perfect. Don't translate, just think lamp.
Lamp.
Do this with everything you see. Chair, table, window, book, whatever. Train your brain to make that direct connection.
This is making me realize how much I translate without even thinking about it.
Right. We do it automatically.
Yeah, like it's just a habit.
Yeah, but you're basically creating new neural pathways,
Well,
new habits of thought, and it happens through repetition.
so we've got the simple phrases, we've got visual thinking. What else?
Try describing your surroundings in short sentences.
Okay.
Like, the door is closed, my laptop is on the table, I hear birds singing. It forces you to think in English, and to actually put those basic pieces into action.
It's like taking those Lego blocks and building something with them.
Exactly, you got it.
But isn't it kind of weird talking to yourself in English all the time?
It might feel strange at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, it's crucial. You're training your mouth to produce those English sounds and sentences.
Right.
And the more you do it, the more confident you'll become.
So it's about getting comfortable with the sound of English, not just the words.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And another great technique is mimicking, imitating dialogues from English media.
Oh, that's fun.
Right. Choose a scene from a show you like and try to repeat it, word for word.
Okay.
Pay attention to the intonation, the rhythm,
So it's like we're absorbing the language almost like through osmosis,
Exactly. You're internalizing those natural patterns, and then your brain starts to produce similar structures when you speak.
That's cool.
But here's a really important tip, okay? Don't just focus on individual words.
Okay.
Learn phrases and expressions.
It's chunks. You mean like instead of just coffee, it's I'd like a coffee or can I get a latte, please?
Exactly. Those chunks give you context, and they make your speech so much more natural.
That's really interesting. It's like learning a dance. You wouldn't learn each step by itself.
Exactly. It's the whole sequence that matters.
I'm starting to feel a bit more hopeful about actually doing this.
That's great to hear. And remember, nobody's perfect.
Oh, that's good.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress and, just enjoying the journey of learning.
We all make mistakes.
All the time, even native speakers. So don't be afraid to just try.
This is all really good, but how do we actually change our mindset to be okay with making mistakes? I feel like we're all conditioned to want perfect grammar.
Think about how kids learn language. They don't even know what grammar is.
That's true.
They just listen and copy and experiment.
They just go for it.
Yeah, they're fearless.
Yeah.
Because they're not overthinking it.
Right.
They just want to communicate, and that's the key.
We lose that, playfulness.
We do, and we need to get it back.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off, and it makes learning English fun again. So can we try a little example, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
Just to see how this works in real life. So let's say you want to order a pizza.
My favorite.
Many learners would translate each word, I want to eat pizza.
And it just sounds so choppy.
It does. But if you think of the whole idea first, pizza, then it comes out naturally. I want pizza. No translation, no hesitation.
That's a huge difference.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's way more natural.
Train your brain to think in complete thoughts.
I want pizza.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. See? You're getting it.
This is, I have a lot to think about. This is great. But we got to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more tips and strategies for thinking in English. Welcome back. So we've talked about why it's important to think in English, and we've even touched on some techniques, but how do we actually make this a part of our lives?
Yeah, it's got to be a habit, you got to weave it into your day.
Okay.
So let's start with the morning. As you're getting ready, just describe what you're doing out loud. In English, of course.
Okay, so I'm brushing my teeth, I'm making coffee, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Super simple, right?
Yeah, I can do that.
You're basically setting that English thought pattern right from the start.
Starting the day off, right?
Right. Now, what about the afternoon? Let's say you're cooking or doing chores, whatever. Just keep narrating.
Okay, so I'm chopping vegetables, I'm putting the laundry in the dryer, like that.
Perfect, you got it.
It feels kind of silly, though, talking to myself.
I know. It's a little weird at first. But remember, we're rewiring your brain here. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Just focus on keeping that English flowing.
Flowing. Okay.
Speaking of flow, how about we add a little evening reflection to the mix?
Ooh, I like that. What do you have in mind?
Okay, so at the end of the day, just take a few minutes to write down 3 sentences about your day. In English. It could be anything like, I went for a walk, I had a delicious dinner, I read a book, whatever. And then read those sentences out loud.
So I'm writing and speaking.
Yes. 2 birds, 1 stone. You're really solidifying what you learned during the day.
That's a good idea. I like that. But what about, the times when I'm not actively practicing? Is there anything I can do to, passively reinforce this way of thinking?
Oh, absolutely. English media is your best friend here. Watching movies or shows with subtitles.
Oh, yeah. I do that sometimes.
Right. It's so helpful. Start with the subtitles on, then challenge yourself to turn them off and see how much you can understand.
That is a good challenge.
It's all about immersion, getting used to the natural rhythm and sound of English.
Okay, so morning narration, afternoon self-talk, evening journaling, and lots of English TV.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid plan.
I think I can handle that.
The key is to find what works for you and make it a habit. And you know what? All this effort, it really pays off.
Yeah, you mentioned before, feeling more confident, less stressed when you speak.
Right, but there's so much more to it than that.
Really? Like what?
Okay, so thinking in English can actually boost your overall cognitive flexibility. It's like a workout for your brain.
Whoa, so I'm getting smarter.
In a way, yes. You're strengthening your ability to switch between tasks, to adapt to new situations.
That's pretty awesome. I never thought about it like that.
It's fascinating, right? And there's even research suggesting that thinking in another language can make you a better problem solver.
Precisely.
Yeah, you start to approach things from different angles, you see solutions you might have missed before.
So it's like learning English is making me a better thinker overall.
Exactly. And then there's the personal growth aspect, you know? You're breaking down barriers, expanding your horizons, not just linguistically, but culturally too.
I love that. It's like it's not just about the language. It's about becoming a more well-rounded person.
Yes, exactly. And as you go on this journey, be patient with yourself. Okay, it takes time. Celebrate the small victories, those moments when you realize you're thinking in English without even trying.
I'm already feeling more motivated to really make this happen.
That's great. And for those of you who are feeling a little overwhelmed or maybe doubting yourselves, just remember, your brain is amazing.
Yeah.
It's capable of incredible things. It's like learning to ride a bike, you know? At first it's wobbly and scary, but with practice, it becomes second nature.
That's so true. I remember falling a lot when I was learning to ride a bike.
We all do. It's the same with language. You're gonna stumble, you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
But that's okay. The important thing is to keep going, to keep believing in yourself.
This is really inspiring. I'm excited to see what happens when I start putting all of this into practice.
Me too. And you know what? We're not done yet. In part 3, we're going to dive into the amazing rewards of thinking in English. Increased fluency, reduced stress, a whole new level of freedom in your communication. Plus, even more unexpected benefits that'll blow your mind.
I can't wait.
We'll also leave you with a final exercise, a little mental playground where you can put everything you've learned into action.
Sounds fun.
It is. So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive into thinking in English.
We're back for the final part of our deep dive. So we've talked about the why, the how, but now, what does it actually feel like when we break free from that translation trap?
Okay, so imagine this. You're speaking English, ideas just flowing, no more mental blocks. It's like this huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders.
Sounds kind of magical.
Okay.
What are some of the things people might notice when they make this shift?
Well, one of the most obvious things is fluency. You'll find yourself speaking more quickly, more smoothly, like sentences just roll off your tongue. You know that feeling when you're searching for a word, like it's on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't quite grasp it?
Oh yeah, all the time.
That starts to happen less and less.
So it's not just speed, but also like a smoother flow. It just sounds effortless.
Exactly. And with that fluency comes less stress, you know? Conversations stop feeling like a performance. You're not constantly worried about messing up. It just becomes more enjoyable, more natural.
It's like you can finally relax and actually enjoy the conversation.
Right. And when you're not struggling to find words, you can actually focus on connecting with the other person.
Which is the whole point of communication, right?
Exactly. And when you're thinking in English, you're not just speaking the language, you're thinking in it. It becomes a part of who you are.
It's like a deeper level of understanding almost.
Yeah, you start to pick up on nuances, humor, cultural references, all those things that make a language come alive. It's like you're experiencing English in a whole new way.
It's like taking off a pair of blurry glasses.
That's a great way to put it.
I'm starting to see how this is so much more than just sounding better. It's like a whole new perspective.
Exactly. And there are even more surprising benefits, you know? Studies have shown that multilingual speakers who think in their second language are often better decision makers.
Really? How so?
Well, they can analyze information more objectively, less influenced by their emotions. It's like they have this extra layer of mental clarity.
Wow, so learning English could actually make us more rational thinkers.
In a way, yes. It's about that mental flexibility that comes with navigating different language systems. It strengthens your cognitive muscles.
That's amazing. It's like a mental workout.
And all of this, it leads to a sense of empowerment, you know? You've conquered this challenge. You're thinking in a language that was once foreign to you.
I love that. It's like you've unlocked a new level in a video game.
Exactly. And it boosts your confidence, not just in your English, but in yourself.
This has been so insightful. I'm really feeling motivated to commit to this shift. But before we wrap up, I'd love to give our listeners a taste of what it actually feels like to think in English. What kind of exercise can we do?
Okay, close your eyes for a second. Picture a place you love. A beach, a forest, a city street, whatever. Now describe that scene in your mind using simple English sentences. Don't overthink it, just let the words come naturally.
Okay, I'm seeing. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, I feel a gentle breeze on my face. It's amazing how just switching to English in my head brings the scene to life.
You see, that's the power of thinking in English. It becomes your inner voice, a natural way to experience and describe the world.
This has been such an incredible journey. I'm really hoping our listeners are feeling inspired to break free from that translation trap.
It's a process, for sure, but the rewards are so worth it.
Absolutely. So keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
That's it for our deep dive into thinking in English. We hope you found it helpful and encouraging. Remember, the journey to fluency starts with a single thought.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.